You're getting your notifications, because we're going to pick this up again where we got cut off and left off. Is anybody out there? We got an audience? That's funny, we got likes and no viewers. Isn't that amazing? YouTube is welcome, Rick Rolled. Okay, we're live, ladies and gentlemen. This is Joe Imbriano, the Fullerton Informer. It's a sunny Thursday afternoon in Southern California, Orange County, and I was doing a live stream this morning talking about the fraud of the medical system, and the live stream was disrupted right in the middle of the segment where I began talking about how the medical system is involved in the body parts business. So I wanted to talk to you about what is going on in Fullerton, California. St. Jude Hospital. St. Jude Hospital is a hospital in Fullerton, California, and they are a Catholic hospital, a large nonprofit. And they are running a medical center and a hospital where they poison people with chemotherapy and forcibly vaccinate pregnant women and newborn children. I was instructed to go by there. Welcome back, by the way, Lori P. Yeah, it was just buffering. They shut me down. I was told to go by this hospital by somebody who worked there for decades, and said, you know what, Joe, you got to look at the flagpole, because the problem is they've got three flags. They've got the flag from the United States, they've got the flag from the state of California, and then they've got this flag that they just started flying, and it's the flag of a corporation that's involved in the body parts business. They're an organ company. They sell body parts. Now, I want to warn all of you about the medical system and how the organ donation system is really, truly a bad idea, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you are one of those people who have checked that box on your driver's license, there's a good chance that if you go into the hospital, you're not going to come out. So just keep that in mind. If you're an organ donor, you need to not become one, because there is an incentive to turn somebody who goes in for a routine procedure into a parted out pile of tissue worth well over $1 million. There's a lot of people that are dying in the hospitals, and the ones that they want are the younger ones, because those are the organs that are worth the most money. Now, another discussion that I was having was about how when you go to the doctors, it's very similar to taking your car to a mechanic when there's nothing wrong with the car, and then the mechanic tells you to put soybean oil in your gas tank and put windshield wiper fluid in your radiator and then put gear oil in your valve cover. And what ends up happening if you do all that is, you know, you blow out your rings and you overheat your car and all these problems start happening. Well, that's what the doctors do. You go to the doctors and they inject you with all kinds of poisonous crap, just like they do to your children. They give you all these synthetic vitamins when you're pregnant, and they give you all these antidepressants and all these pills and drugs that actually make you worse. And so you come back for more treatments, for more ailments, and what's happening is... Have I been cut off again? Has this stream been cut off again? This will be the second time. Am I still up or am I cut off? Okay, good. All right, so I'm good. So anyway, yeah. So, you know, look, you take your car to the mechanic and they cut the fan belts and they put a bunch of wrong fluids in the wrong spots. And, you know, then they tell you, oh, you need to come back. We're going to have to fix all these parts. You know, that's what the doctors do, folks. They never tell you the truth about how to stay healthy. And staying healthy is real simple. Get off the sugar. That's the first thing you could do. You know, the medical mafia is really evil. The medical system is really dangerous. And the people that work in the medical system are in large portion a bunch of psychopaths. And here's why I know this for a fact. Have you ever tried to have a discussion with your doctor about the facts, about what these pills do or what the vaccines do? Have you noticed how they treat you? Like you're some imbecile? And if you really push the issue, they get really mad. They're always right, they know everything, and that you're just some stupid pauper that belongs on the plantation taking their orders from anybody that has a coat with some initials on it. Let me tell you something, folks. The medical doctors, for the most part, are allopathic, petrochemical, poison pill pushing pimps. And you know what? Every time I have one of these live streams where I'm talking about this stuff, I don't know why it keeps getting cut off, but maybe I'm saying some key words like the body parts business and how the doctors are killing everybody. You know, the second or third leading cause of death in the United States is by doctors, folks. So, you know, everybody's worried about, you know, going places at night that are dangerous, or going on vacations to countries that have civil unrest. Do you know the most dangerous place you can go, folks, is the doctors? Did you know that? And that the most likely place that you may encounter something that could take your life is in a hospital. I don't know if any of you remember the Walgreens logos, but it's a sorcerer's cup, folks. And the sorcery is a forbidden practice in the Bible. Pharmakia is an abomination to God, and that's where we get the word pharmacy from. So what we've got on every corner is a liquor store to have your kids eat a bunch of Abbas and Reese's peanut butter cups so they can rot their teeth out and get their fluoride treatments on schedule, get the mercury amalgams drilled into their teeth to get that methyl mercury level up in their blood and into their brains. And then, of course, all of the accoutrements that come with liquor stores, like cigarettes and junk food and aspartame-laced gum and all these donuts that are made out of all these phony ingredients and chemicals and really, really toxic compounds, are all designed to make you sick. So then when you go to the doctors, then they'll send you back to the Walgreens or the CVS or one of these other nationally syndicated pharmacy rackets to get your dope that the doctors want you to take. Now, when you go into one of these drugstores, it's hilarious. The first thing you'll see is about a 10-story stack of Coke cans or Diet Joke cans. Everything in these drugstores is a bunch of garbage that makes you sick. So they've got you killing yourselves and then going to the doctors to kill yourself more. And then when it comes time to try to get better, the doctor will send you somewhere with the white slip into a store that's surrounding you with a bunch of poison to kill you even more. Yeah. I mean, do you really respect these guys that spent so much time in school that they can't think straight anymore? Okay. I want to tell you something, folks. My wife, with our first child, this was amazing. We were told to go to a Lamaze class because she was pregnant and didn't know what to expect. She's never had a child before. This was 20 years ago almost. And so we went over to the Virginia Croissant Memorial Building over at St. Jude Hospital, and we went into this room where there's all these pregnant women doing their Lamaze routine. Okay, that's fine. That's okay. It's breathing exercises. But what was going on in the room next door was some sort of a meeting that had a bunch of doctors and administrators, and there's probably about 200 medical people in the room. They all had white coats on. You know, these doctors always wear their stethoscopes all day, even when they go to lunch. You ever get a kick out of that? They want everybody to know who they are. It's like we're supposed to worship these clowns with these stethoscopes or something. Anyway, I looked in this room, and there's probably 200 people in there. Most of them were doctors. And you want to know something? They were all drinking Diet Coke and eating cookies. Now, this is the truth, folks. This is how stupid the people are in the medical system. They actually believe that eating those foods doesn't hurt you. They're that stupid. How can you be that stupid? Well, I don't know. All I know is that it goes against common sense to drink compounds that, when heated up to body temperature, turn into the components of the things in the paneling in your walls that have a Prop 65 warning on it called formaldehyde, because that's what happens to aspartame when it's broken down in your body. One of the components of degradation is, guess what, folks? Formaldehyde. It's embalming fluid. All right, so Coca-Cola's got people addicted to this stuff. Is that my fault? No, it's your fault. Diet Coke is poison. The doctors drink it, and the doctors will tell you to drink it if you're diabetic. But why are you diabetic? Well, because you're taking in all this refined sugar that they put in everything, that they hide in everything, that they disguise in everything. They have words now that the FDA approved for these criminals called refiner's syrup. Instead of the high fructose corn syrup that everybody started getting wise to, now they're using the word refiner's syrup or glucose syrup or other compounds. And the doctors won't warn you about the sugar, folks. As a matter of fact, they tell you it's okay in moderation. Can I ask you a question? Since when is putting 200 weight gear oil in moderation okay for upper cylinder lubricant of my BMW? It never is. Your body's not designed to run on that garbage. But yet you can't even buy food in the store that doesn't have that garbage put into it. And that's my point. And my point is that the doctors are in on this because they're making a killing literally off of everybody's naivety. Now, we have to rebel against this and not eat their poison. And if you own stock in companies that are selling this stuff, dump the stock, boycott these companies. And these television commercials, send emails or make phone calls to the corporate headquarters of these places and tell them you're sick and tired of these creeps ruining our children and making them fat and stupid with their poisonous products. And then the solution is a bunch of fat, screwed up kids that have compromised immune systems, so they've got to get all these vaccines rammed into them to supposedly protect them when the vaccines have not been tested for impairment of fertility, for mutagenic potential or carcinogenic potential, and yet the criminals in the California legislature voted to mandate vaccinations as a condition of school entry. And so on top of that, the doctors were the ones that were up in the Capitol lobbying the senators and the assemblymen and women to pass the vaccination law. So the medical mafia system, folks, it is extremely evil. I want you to understand something, and I said this morning. You cannot try to treat a broken arm yourself, or if you have traumatic injuries from an accident, you've got to go to the hospital. Medicine has its place. But Senator Pan and Dr. Pan, and, you know, look up what Pan is in mythology, what god that was. And this man in the California legislature is hell-bent on taking away everybody's children's right to a clean bloodstream. I'm going to state something once again about vaccinations that are pushed heavily by the medical mafia. And that is that every vaccine insert on every vaccine that's pushed by these petrochemical, pill-pushing, poisoning pimps called doctors. None of these vaccine inserts state that they have been tested for impairment of fertility. They all state that the vaccine has not been tested for impairment of fertility, that the vaccine has not been tested for mutagenic potential, that the vaccine has not been tested for carcinogenic potential. So why are we ramming this stuff into the kids? And why are you doctors going along with this? Because you're monsters. And you are of the devil. And let me tell you something, folks. It's time to put the devil on death row where he belongs. And that is the plan, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why I'm talking about this stuff. And Jesus Christ himself said, now the prince of this world is cast out. And he talked about the lake of fire that was prepared for the devil and his angels. Let me tell you something, folks. The devil needs to be put on death row. And all of his followers do too, because they're killing everybody. Are you listening to me, ladies and gentlemen? They're killing everybody And they're letting everybody kill themselves with all this bad advice and bad information. And that's the truth. Now, the doctors will tell you if you have diabetes that you need to eat things like peanut butter and canned tuna fish and take this insulin that's been derived from the pig's hormones and jam it into your body every couple hours and prick your finger every couple hours and buy one of these meters. And they tell you to drink Diet Joke and use artificial sweeteners. You know what they don't tell you about, folks? Mucopolysaccharides and well-balanced foods that contain a broad spectrum of sugars in limited complex form. No, folks, they give you bad advice so you'll stay on the pig insulin for the rest of your life and die an early death. And then you eat all kinds of other pills along the way because everything else starts falling apart because insulin's not something you can take forever. And they know that eventually you're going to end up on a coffee filter machine called dialysis. And that means you got 2 years left if you're lucky. But here's the deal, they don't care. They'll make $1 million off your policy. And you can go to Whole Foods and you think you're going to get your GMO-free foods when all that stuff is laced. Here's the deal, folks. Get off the flour, too. The flour is bad news. If you want to eat seeds and grains, then eat the seeds and grains in the form that they come in off the plant, not the ones that come from the manufacturing plant. Genesis 1:28, folks, in the Bible. God said, I have given you every herb yielding seed. May it be to you for meat. You're supposed to eat food that comes from plants. There's nothing wrong with having a steak or a salmon, folks. That stuff's all good. You don't want to eat it all the time, but you know, Jesus ate fish. He had open fire cooking fish. You know, that's just part of life. They had bread, but they didn't have this bread now that's made out of this white flour, poisonous stuff that you could actually use on your plants as an insecticide. No, folks, they didn't do that to their people back then. People had victory gardens. They had their own food supplies growing in their backyards. They had to trade stuff. But now they've got you guys crammed into these stack 'em and pack 'ems with these 25-foot Blu-ray, blue screen, blue glow television sets, watching all kinds of satanic propaganda in these commercials that have been put out by these satanic pedophiles that run Hollywood and Madison Avenue. Well, folks, we got to put these devils on death row. That's where they belong. They need to go to prison for what they're doing to everybody. Now, you look at the commercials, and you look at the overt pornographic and satanic elements to these commercials. And I saw a commercial not too long ago, because somebody had pointed it out to me, where they're advertising some appliances. And it looks like something from a burlesque show from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I mean, what the heck does a refrigerator and a stove have to do with cross-dressing vampires? Dear Lord, folks, what in the world have they done to everybody? Well, it's because you're stupid enough to let them. Take your TV set and unplug it, folks. There's plenty of things you can do to occupy your time. And with that time, start studying how to liberate yourself from the medical mafia and its death grip on destroying your health. Everybody I know that has ever dealt with doctors is in bad shape, folks. And that is a fact. There is not one person I know that has regular interactions with the medical system that is healthy. Now, conversely, I know many people that have no interactions whatsoever with the medical system. And they are the strongest, most alertest, healthiest people you will know. Why? Because they are not under the spell of the sorcerer's cup from the petrochemical, poison, pill-pushing, allopathic pimps called doctors. That's right, folks. Now, what other problems do we have from the medical system? The body parts business, ladies and gentlemen. That's another part of the program. Now, if my child needs an organ transplant from some rare disease, I'm going to put them on the waiting list. But you want to know something? They shouldn't have these organ harvesting ships docked off of Port-au-Prince in Haiti where these wealthy medical transplant travelers can go, and they harvest the organs out of all these people in these prisons in these third world countries that have been unjustly arrested and incarcerated and held without trials, and then have their organs taken out of their bodies for top dollar to the highest bidder, folks. Did you know in Syria, they're grabbing kids off the street, ladies and gentlemen, and they're putting them in these hospital gurneys and strapping them down and cutting open their bodies while they're alive, and they're taking out their organs, folks. This is going on. There's a video that surfaced on the internet, and that was not too long ago, where it showed what was going on. It's an open air meat market, folks. This stuff is of the devil. Now, the medical system is an extremely dangerous system. I'll give you another example of what they're doing to people. And I know I don't want to focus too much on the human body here, folks, because I'm a Christian and we have a spirit that is eternal. And the fate of that spirit is sealed by the blood of Jesus Christ and his finished work on that cross. And my home is in heaven, but I'm not going to make this temporary abode a hellhole because I'm too heavenly good to be earthly minded. I'm telling you, folks, we've got to wake up and deal with what we're being dealt right now while we're walking the face of this earth and do God's work. And that involves exposing things like the high-level people in office that are drinking adrenochrome, which is the blood of sacrificed children as they're freaked out with all the endorphins running through their blood. These high-level political people get off on this stuff. Why do you think these psychopaths are doing what they're doing, folks? They do evil things. Now, back to the issue of organ harvesting. Look, it's a big business. It's really profitable. And if you want your parents to be around, don't tell them not to go to the doctors. Tell them to go outside, take their sunglasses off, get off their butts, get away from the TV, and go outside and prune the rose bushes or go for a walk. Take them down to the beach and have them feed the pigeons. I don't know. Take them somewhere. Get them out of their house from the LED lights and the LED screens and the Wi-Fi and all that stuff. You know, it's sad. People don't want to listen. But the doctors will tell you that if you have high cholesterol, that you need to take these cholesterol pills. And you know, these cholesterol pills, they're really effective because they basically shut down the cholesterol production in your liver. And you know what happens when that happens, right? Your brain starts shrinking. If you want to get Alzheimer's and start forgetting things really quick, then take those cholesterol pills and watch how you'll be looking for the lighter when it's in your hand. That's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Now, one of the reasons why cholesterol is perceived to be a problem is because the doctors have told us that high levels of cholesterol in our blood cause atherosclerosis, pitting and clogging up of our arteries. Do you want to know why the arteries get clogged up with cholesterol? Because the chlorine and the chloramine in your shower and in your municipal water that you're drinking is loaded to the hilt. And when you take a hot shower, you breathe those gases, those halide gases. They're highly reactive, they're oxidizers. And let me tell you something, folks. When you get those halide compounds in gaseous form through your lungs, in through that air exchange in your lungs, and it gets into your bloodstream, it pits those arteries. And you know what your body does to pit those little holes? It sends plaque, it sends cholesterol to patch it up. And when you keep breathing chlorine and drinking chlorine and having chlorine soak into your skin, when you're soaking into that bathtub that doesn't have a filter on it, your arteries keep getting pitted and scabbed and your body keeps patching up. Before you know it, those patches are plugging you up. You know what the doctors do? Instead of sending you on your way with a $15 shower filter that you can get at Home Depot, they send you out of there with pills that will destroy your brain and destroy your liver. You know what? That's evil. That's evil, folks. And they won't say anything about the trans fats that are in all the cookies and in the crackers as preservatives, as shelf life extenders, that are also contributing to this plaque and this coronary artery disease and the milling of the vitamin E out of the white flour. They won't warn you about that, folks. They're going to send you out with pills. And you're going to eat yourself into a pine box and you're going to walk in and out of these pharmacies like a circus clown on and off a stage until you can't do it anymore. And they win. They don't have to win, folks. The truth will set you free. And the truth will set you free. And the truth will free you from the bondage of fear. And how we make America great again is we make America healthy again. And we make America wake up out of their slumber. Because once the doctors have lost their grip on killing everybody with all of these horrible, horrible medications, we will be able to fight back. And we will be able to be victorious. And they won't be able to lie and fool us anymore into accepting their devices. You need to save your moms and your dads and your grandpas and your grandmas and your kids and your wives from the doctors. If they put them on psychotropics or blood pressure pills or heart pills, they're never going to be the same, folks. You got to find a way to get everybody you know off all the drugs. You have to fight back for your family. I have rescued my direct family from the clutches of these demons, while some of my other family members refuse to heed the warnings, and they will reap the whirlwind from the consequences. That is not me, folks. You want to get off antidepressants? Antidepressants are nothing but a bunch of fluoride. That's a whole nother issue. And you need to get out in the sun and shut your Wi-Fi off and start getting right with God. And God will heal you and give you wisdom to eat the right foods, to get off the sugar, to give you strength to get off the sugar. There's ways that you can be happy that don't involve drugs. A lot of these chemical imbalances are actually metabolic disorders. They're chronic metabolic disorders caused by sugar consumption, caused by subliminal mind control from the television, caused by the flicker rate manipulation of the Windows software programs in your phones. You need to put some sort of window covering on your computer screens to slow down that flicker rate, folks. It's very interesting what they're getting away with right now. There's a lot of subliminal programming in the television, in the movies. I haven't watched television for 20 years, and the last movie I went to see in a theater was the Titanic. And let me tell you something about that movie, folks. I never once was taught growing up in Catholic school or going to Christian church that you could go on a boat and cheat on your wife and have sex with somebody in a car that's parked down below deck and then go commit suicide and go to heaven and live with your mistress forever. But that is the garbage message from the Titanic, ladies and gentlemen. That is what that movie taught people. And I said, you know what? I'm done with Hollywood and their pedophile crap. Those pedophiles that run Hollywood, they're all out in the open now. All these rapists that run Hollywood, we all know who they are. They're all going to go straight to hell when they die, folks. And to be honest with you, they can't get to hell soon enough for what they're doing. But you know what you can do is shut their crap off. And don't give them your money. And don't go watch their stuff. Don't take the dope. Don't take the pills. And don't watch the lies. Look, folks, Hollywood needs to be bankrupted. It's been morally bankrupted, and it's out in the open as a satanic Illuminati pedophile ring. We just need to pray to God in Jesus' name that those people that are running that satanic pedophile ring will be stopped. And it's not that hard to stop them, folks. All we have to do is throw the television away, cancel the cable, and start going outside, talking to your neighbors and warning your neighbors, and then we're done with it. This is Joe Imbriano, folks. I'm going to sign off. I'll come back on tonight. I'll do a live stream tonight, probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock. Hopefully you guys will tune in. We're going to keep this going because there's momentum here, and truth's being told, and Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through Him. Get right with God. And if you have questions, send me an email, joeimbriano777 @gmail.com. God bless. Talk to you soon.